Star of the Seas is Royal Caribbean's second ship in the Icon class, and it's going to debut later this summer from Port Canaveral, Florida. It's going to offer 7-night Caribbean cruises, including stops at Royal Caribbean's private island of Perfect Day at Coco Key. And the ship doesn't launch for another couple months, but we're going to preview what you can do on the ship, what you can expect up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Star of the Seas is going to be a big deal because Icon of the Seas was a really big deal ever since she debuted in January of 2024. She has become the quintessential standard that all cruise ships are judged by, and just like a sequel to a blockbuster movie, Star of the Seas has got a lot of attention on her. But what can you do on board the ship? You've heard the hype, you've seen commercials, what is going to be on there? Now, Royal Caribbean hasn't peeled back every single layer of it yet, but I'm going to bring you a deck-by-deck preview of what this ship is all about. One thing you're going to quickly notice is how innovative Star of the Seas is, because the Icon class features a lot of changes and improvements that truly make the ship amazing. Things like having an AquaDome, which is a transformational neighborhood with restaurants, bars, and entertainment. Thrill Island, which features the Category 6 water park, not water slides, water park, and Crown's Edge thrill ride. Of course, you got Chill Island, which is plenty of pools, bars, adult-only areas, a Surfside neighborhood for kids, and plenty more. Let's get into it by starting off with Deck 16 of Star of the Seas, and this is really going to bring us right to the pool deck area. There's so much to check out here. Let's go from back to front. You've got the Flowrider Surf Simulator at the back of the ship. This is where you can learn to surf or even boogie board on board a ship, including your cruise cost. You've also got Thrill Island, and Thrill Island is the neighborhood that features not just the Flowrider, but all the thrill attractions. You've got Category 6 water slide, which has 6 different water slides in it. You've got the Lost Dunes mini golf course, Base Camp, which is a restaurant that's going to offer you quick bites. Basically, think about this. You're in the water park, you want something quick to eat, bam, jump in here. This is complimentary now. Grab it and go, and then back to the water slides. Or maybe hit up Adrenaline Peak, which has 2 features in it. First of all is the Crown's Edge thrill attraction ropes course. Hard to describe this thing, but as you can see, it offers you the opportunity to swing and climb and go right off the side of the ship, which is really cool. And there's also a rock climbing wall here as well. Now, before we leave Thrill Island, if you walk down the stairs at the back, you're going to find the adults-only area, the Hideaway. The Hideaway is like a Vegas-style pool party, and it's exclusively for guests who are at least 18 years or older. I do wish there was more shade here, but for anybody that's looking for an adults-only escape, this is the spot for you. In the middle of Deck 16 and decks around it as well, you've got Chill Island. Chill Island is the name for basically the pools on board. And this is where you're going to find not one, not two, but many different pools. You've got the Swim and Tonic pool. You have Cloud 17, which is on Deck 17. You have the Royal Bay pool. Each pool offers its own vibe. My favorite is definitely the Swim and Tonic, because Swim and Tonic is a swim-up bar. I mean, talk about fun. That's a really, really cool idea. At the front of Deck 16 is Coastal Kitchen, and Coastal Kitchen is also home to the suite area. So the suite deck spans a couple of different decks, and if you're staying in a Grand Suite or higher, or you're a Pinnacle Club member, you'll have access to this area. And this is one of the best reasons to book a suite on Star of the Seas, because having access to these areas really is like a ship within a ship concept. Not quite the same thing as, like, say, the Retreat on Celebrity, but it's about as close as Royal Caribbean's ever going to get to it. And what I really love about this is how much they packed in here. So you've got things, of course, like Coastal Kitchen, which is the included restaurant for suite guests. You've got the Suite Lounge, which offers you complimentary drinks throughout the day. And on top of that, on Deck 18, you have the Grove Suite Sun Deck. What I love about this is not just that it's a sun deck for suite guests, but it has a pool, it has a whirlpool, and it has the Grove, which is like a buffet for suite guests. A really neat idea. Let's head down to Deck 15, and this is a really impressive deck. So many things to start off with. Number one, the AquaDome neighborhood is here. The AquaDome is home to the Aqua Theater. Now, on Oasis-class ships, the Aqua Theater was on the back of the ship, and it was outside. Here on Star of the Seas, it's indoors, it's enclosed, and it is massive with a huge dome above it. And underneath that dome, you'll find the Aqua Theater, which has got a really fun show called Twerk, which is a high-octane stunt show. And on top of that, they're also promising another show coming to the AquaDome, which is going to be the Pirates and Mermaids show, which will be a little more family-friendly and inviting for younger kids for sure. There are a couple different restaurants you're going to want to know about in the AquaDome, starting off with Hooked Seafood, which is if you're in the mood for shellfish of any kind, lobster, mussels, clams. This is a specialty restaurant for you. There's an extra charge to dine here. Also, Celebration Table. This is a really neat idea. Let's say you have like 10 or 12 friends, family members, whatever, and you want to have a big celebration dinner, someone's birthday, anniversary, you're on vacation, you can actually rent out this space and have a private meal just for yourselves. Then there's the AquaDome Marketplace. This is complimentary, and I love this spot. It's a food hall with different cuisines, and my favorite by far is the feta one, which has all sorts of Mediterranean food, but the crepes are fantastic. The Asian food is always a hit. I like this quite a bit. In fact, I'm listing out all these different kind of foods out there, but Royal Caribbean has hinted that maybe they'll be switching up some of the food options here, so I'm looking forward to that. You also have the Ryan Bean, which is a great coffee bar, not just for coffee, but coffee with alcohol. So don't just look at this as like, oh, this is where you eat your espresso in the morning. You can do that. But you can also come back here for your espresso martinis, and it's a great spot to hang out. And then speaking of hanging out, the Overlook pods are a really fun area. So the Overlook is at the very front of the AquaDome, and it's a great spot to simply enjoy the view. I mean, sweeping views, all glass. It's very quiet. It's a great spot to read a book, hang out, do some work, whatever the case may be. As we exit the AquaDome, you're going to run into our first set of elevators here. And the elevators on Star of the Seas are unique in the sense that if you've been on cruise ships that are not Icon of the Seas, then you probably encountered elevators to take forever, where it just seems like, oh, so it's just, you're sitting there frustrated because the elevators are full or not coming. Well, with the Icon class, Royal Caribbean's introduced destination elevators, and they work so much better. So the good news is a ship this size is actually really easy to get around. Now, as we move through the other part here of Chill Island, we've got more pools, and of course the Lime and Coconut, which is one of many different locations within Chill Island, and this is the pool bar experience. I love the cocktails over here. I would definitely recommend trying a bunch of them in between your stops at the various pools, whether it's Royal Bay, the Cove, back up to Swim and Tonic. They've got great bar selections and unique drinks to try out, so don't assume it's always the same menu. And then, we haven't talked about food in about, let me check, 37 seconds. So let's talk about more food, because you got El Loco Fresh, more included food right on the pool deck. This is where you can get burritos, tacos, quesadillas, and you can customize it exactly the way that you want it. I love El Loco Fresh. It's such a pleasureful, great meal every single time. And if that's not enough food for you, not to worry, friends, because at the back of the ship, you've got the Windjammer Marketplace, the cruise buffet, and they've got so many different choices here. You got to check out the cooking stations, as well as, of course, all the different various foods. I mean, you're not leaving the Windjammer hungry for sure. Moving down to deck 14, we have the Vitality Spa. The Vitality Spa is home to a couple different things. First and foremost, the spa. If you'd like to go and get a massage or a treatment, this is the place for it. Of course, it costs extra. There's also the 2 Dry Force Salon. So if you want to get your hair done, hair cut, a shave, you can do that here as well. I know many of our viewers absolutely love Vitality Cafe, which is where they get their protein shakes. And if you're like me, I'm starting to get more into the gym. I know it's more than a guy's name. It's actually a place you can go to on a cruise ship. They actually have a fitness center down on one deck below this. And I got to tell you, it's a great fitness center. Lots of machines, huge amount of space. It's really impressive. Let's move down a few decks, and we're skipping deck 13 because Royal Caribbean skipped deck 13, and you might be wondering, why is there no deck 13 on Star of the Seas? Well, it's because somebody over there is superstitious and doesn't want to have a deck 13, although they do exist on other cruise ships, but I digress. As we exit our virtual destination elevators, we're going to enter one of my favorite neighborhoods on Star of the Seas, Central Park. Central Park is a real park. All the plants you're going to see here are totally living, real things. Before we get outside, though, we're going to start with the Lincoln Park Supper Club. So this is the follow-up to the Empire Supper Club, and this is an ornate 3-hour meal, and I know that sounds really long, but this is the ultimate dining experience at sea. The Lincoln Park Supper Club is loosely themed to Chicago, whereas the Empire Supper Club on Icon of the Seas was loosely themed to New York. So you're going to have a multi-course meal with food, cocktails, and live entertainment, and all of it is tied together. So when your food is served to you, it will complement your drink. And as you sip your drink, the music playing is complementing the food and drink that you're sampling. And it's a really cool experience. It is required to have formal dress in order to get in here. It's not cheap. It starts about $200 a person. But I'm going to tell you, having tried it 2 different times on Icon of the Seas, it is a must-do at least once in your life. It's that good. Heading out to Central Park, we're going to find shopping, we're going to find bars, we're going to find things to do. It's a really cool space. There are a number of specialty restaurants, starting with the Zumi Hibachi and Sushi, which we can get Japanese cuisine. Across from that is the Chops Grill, and right next to Chops is going to be the Trellis Bar. The Trellis Bar is my favorite space within the park to just have a cocktail at because it's outdoors. You really get a good sense of the ambiance here. Not to be outdone, though, as you walk through Central Park and take plenty of selfies, because that's really what Central Park is all about. You've got a couple different stops awaiting you. First of all, is Park Cafe, which is a complimentary restaurant in which you can go to for breakfast or lunch and enjoy some light snacks. The Kemmelwick sandwich is fantastic. Right next to it is the Bubbles Champagne Bar. So if you just want to grab a glass of bubbly, this is where you can do that. There's also going to be Lou's Jazz Club here. And if you're a jazz fan, this is the spot for you. It's such a cool area. The music, you have your drink in hand, enjoying the ambiance of the park. It is absolutely fantastic. Down on deck 7 is Surfside. Now, Surfside is the family neighborhood, an entire neighborhood area of the ship dedicated towards young families. But Royal Caribbean is going to change it up a little bit here on Star of the Seas. They've said that while on Icon, it kind of was like for like 6 and under, they want it to be a little bit older here on Star. Not like 17, but like probably, I'm going to guess 10 or 12, because they want to have it inevitably meet the needs of families. And we're finding that a lot of older kids were spending time here anyway. So why not lean into that and offer a more mature, but still plenty for the younger kids to do. So it's not just like, you know, for older elementary school kids, it's for everybody involved from like, I'm going to say 8 or 9, maybe 10 years old and younger is my guess. We'll see when the ship debuts, but this is the area to enjoy specifically for families. Now there's one question mark. I don't know what's coming here, but there's a restaurant that has not been announced yet for Star of the Seas, at least as of the recording of this video here. On Icon of the Seas, it was Pier 7, but Royal Caribbean said they're replacing it, so we'll have to see what that restaurant is going to be. In the meantime, though, Surfside Eatery is actually an entire buffet just for family-friendly food. I mean, they've got chicken dino nuggets. That's all I have to say about this place. It's amazing. One other change that they're making with Surfside is the Water's Edge pool originally was meant to be this like, okay, the adults are in the pool, the kids are in Splashaway Bay. You know what really happened? The kids invaded the pool. So they're just going to make it all kid-friendly instead. All right, we're down to deck 6, and we're getting really close to the Royal Promenade. Before we get to the Promenade, though, a couple changes as well to more family areas, because this is also where you're going to find right below on deck 6, Adventure Ocean. Adventure Ocean and the Teen Club, which is Social 020, is located basically as you exit Surfside to get back down to deck 6. And just like Icon of the Seas, it's a massive space, and this is the kids club on board. Once again, Royal Caribbean has said they want to make some tweaks to these areas. We don't know exactly what that means, but I think what it really means is they're going to make some changes, improvements to make it flow a little bit better and address some of the needs that parents identified. I can tell for a fact, this is a great spot for kids to make friends and have a great time while their parents are doing something that just kids don't enjoy. Maybe one of those things is going right next door to Playmakers Sports Bar and Arcade. I love Playmakers because it's a sports bar. It's got more TVs than I think tables, and you can watch pretty much any game they have a feed for. It is really, really cool. At the back of Playmakers, probably the only, I would say, really, truly weird thing about the ship is this is the entrance to Absolute Zero, which is the ice skating rink on board. We do know for a fact that Seoul will be the ice show on board, and Royal Caribbean says this exhilarating show on ice traces the sun's path from coast to coast in an ice skating revolution, packed with extreme stunts and out-of-this-world projections. I know ice shows always seem weird, but trust me, they're really fun. Definitely worth checking out. Now, as we exit this area and go back towards the front of deck 6, we're going to run into the Royal Promenade. The Royal Promenade is on decks 5 and 6, 2 decks high. You can do a full circle around it. It's an incredible space, and this is actually where you're going to walk into when you walk onto Star of the Seas for the very first time. You actually do it on deck 5, but I'm talking about the Royal Promenade, obviously. A lot of cool spaces, a lot of bars, entertainment, restaurants, shopping. You've got Boleros, the Schooner Bar. You've got dueling pianos. You've got what we think is probably going to be the attic. Once again, the deck plan doesn't show anything here, but it was a comedy club on Icon of the Seas. You've got Giovanni's Italian Kitchen and Wine Bar and the Pearl Cafe. The Pearl Cafe is right behind the Pearl, and we'll see the Pearl in just a second. But this is like one of my favorite spaces on board the ship, because on Pearl Cafe, it is a great spot for coffee, snack, grab-and-go food, and absolutely phenomenal views. It's a really nice area. And the Pearl, my goodness, you're going to see this again as you walk on the ship. It spans decks 5, 6, 7, I think goes all the way up to 8. And what's really cool about it is absolutely beautiful. And one major change we can expect on Star is that it's going to be even more stunning. Royal Caribbean is investing more money in those little panels inside the Pearl to make it truly stand out. It's incredible. Now, if there wasn't enough to do on the Promenade, there's even more happening here, including the Thorn and Thistle. Good luck saying that 3 times fast. That's the English-style pub on board. You're also going to have the place to book your next cruise at Next Cruise. You're also going to have the Sorrento's Pizza, Spotlight Karaoke, lots of shopping, Starbucks. I mean, you're going to spend a lot of time here on the Royal Promenade, not only getting from point A to point B, but because there's a lot of cool things to do here. And I think it's a really enticing place to hang out and lots happening. On both ends of Deck 5 are also some interesting areas. First of all, we have the main dining room on the back of Deck 5. The main dining room actually spans a couple different decks, but the main dining room is where you can go for breakfast and dinner every single day of your cruise, and lunch on sea days as well. You have the choice of my time dining or traditional dining. Personally, I prefer traditional, but there's nothing wrong with my time. Just basically your own preferences, quite frankly. But the food here, not everything's amazing, but more often than not, I'm impressed by it. I never walk away that hungry. And I got to tell you, I'm a big fan of the main dining room. I love having the same waitstaff every night. Having that tradition of cruising really feels at home here in the dining room. It's a beautiful space as well. On the other side of Deck 5 is the Royal Theater. The Royal Theater is going to be home to different entertainment throughout your cruise. On Star of the Seas, they actually have a show on board specifically for this called, I don't know if you've ever heard of this movie. I had to look this up. Back to the Future, the musical. I know, I was being facetious there. My goodness. Yeah, so Royal Caribbean is bringing the Broadway West End musical to its ship, and it's included in your cruise fare. I can't wait to see this at least 17 times. It looks absolutely amazing. Let's head on down to Deck 4, and we're going to run it right into Casino Royale. And if you're into gambling a little bit, a lot, or really a lot, you're going to have the casino on board the ship. Casino's fun. You know, what's great about it is it's my favorite, like, you know, sea day, got an hour to burn, or in the evening after dinner and a show, some wind down time. Maybe you win money, which is great if you can. Always gamble responsibly, but it's a great spot to hang out. And I just like the idea of, you know, the allure of gambling, if you will. It's kind of fun from that perspective. You also have Music Hall, and I got to say, this is probably the lost space on board. I don't think anybody even knows this exists till like day 4, but there is a Music Hall on board. What's really cool about Music Hall is they have live band performances in here. They do other things like bingo and things like that, but you really got to come to the Music Hall when they have the band performing in here. It's incredible. It's like going to a rock concert. Truly impressive. And if you're on Deck 3, you're either lost, you're going to your cabin, or you need to go to the medical center. Let's hope that never happens, but that does exist down here. There's also like a dining room, a conference center, which once again, I don't think anybody watching this video is probably going to, but it does exist down there as well. Star of the Seas is going to debut in August of 2025, offering 7-night cruises from Port Canaveral to both the Eastern and Western Caribbean. Each cruise includes a stop at Perfect Day at Coco Key. And yes, I'll be on the inaugural sailings in order to give everybody full coverage of what to expect on board. We'll have a full ship tour video actually showing off all the new areas of Star of the Seas, answering all those questions that we've had about this ship and what you can expect once you get on board the sailing. Let me know in the comments below. What are you most excited about? What area of this ship are you totally wanting to check out as soon as you get on board the ship? Let me know in the comments below. While you're down below our video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way, YouTube lets you know when we have a brand new video out there. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.